Sanbonani, dumelang, abusheni, inhlikani, imajambula manene. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Sophia Butomi Mburi Yakachabalala, and welcome back to Second Chances with Sophia V. I'm extremely excited today because I finally get to introduce a mini project that I've been working on, and I know that it will benefit a lot of people. I'm here to officially announce to you or to kickstart what we call a job seeker segment. So basically what the segment is that I've dedicated the month of September to uploading content that will help people that are seeking for job employment, both locally and internationally. So how we're going to go about this is that every single Tuesday, starting from today with this video, you can expect tips and advices on how you can go about applying for employment in South Africa. And on Thursdays, I will be having South Africans based abroad coming to share their experiences of how they got their employment and any other tip that they could share. Who knows? It might just spark an interest you didn't know that you even had. So on today's video, I will be sharing with you the mistakes that I've made in the past while applying for employment. So much so that there is this one big event in my life that happened that actually led me to almost becoming a truck driver. That time that was not the intention while applying, and I got myself in that situation due to the mistake that I made. So what I will be doing, I will be giving you the tips in a form of a story so that you can actually pick up my train of thought while making these mistakes. And hopefully, if maybe you are committing the same mistakes, you are doing the same mistakes, hopefully you can also move away from those mistakes as we speak. And before I dive into the story, I would like to share one very important tip that is not part of my story. However, I found it very important to point it out and for people to consider. What you post on social media counts. Your possible future employer might be on social media. Your possible future colleagues might be on social media. You might not be friends on social media today, but the content that you post might have a negative or a positive impact towards your application. Employers do look at social media. It might not be everyone, but I would hate it for you to find yourself being negatively impacted should it happen that the where you are seeking employment, they do look at your social media. We have seen certain Miss South Africa candidates being disqualified due to the posts that they've made previously. Unfortunately, social media does not forget. So it might be a post that you posted 15 years ago. So that is why I would urge you to occasionally just do like a social media audit. Get rid of whatever you don't need. Sometimes you might not even remember some of the comments that you've left. I would urge you to go onto your social media and just search your name. See what comes up and where your name pops up. If the comment that you've left, a certain post that you've left is inappropriate, immediately remove it. Now that I've said my piece on that, let's get right into the story. If you've been on my channel long enough, you should know that I've dropped out of university twice, but I eventually graduated. So when I first dropped out of university, my partner was able to help me secure employment within 3 to 5 weeks after I had dropped out of university. It was actually an internship whereby I was earning 3,000 rands. And honestly speaking, I was only able to sustain myself because I had the financial backing of my family and my partner. But even with that opportunity in front of me, I still quit the job after 6 months simply because I had just dropped out of university and all I wanted was to work, and all I wanted was a job. But with an internship, you also have to do assignments, and I did not like that there was still an academic aspect of it in the working environment. And honestly speaking, I went into the employment because I wanted whatever I wanted, and I was not open to what the company itself had to offer me. So that is the one thing I would also advise you to do, to have your head in the right space. Don't just make hasty decisions. I feel like there is no wasted experience. Even if you are currently finding yourself working as a waitress, or even if you had to pick up papers
while you are waiting for your big opportunity to come up, make sure that you maximize on that opportunity, because there is definitely something for you to learn from that. I can guarantee you that. Nonetheless, fast forward, I actually quit that. I actually dropped out of the learnership within 6 months of the learnership. And at that point in time, I did not have a plan. I just wanted to find myself out of there, and that's what I did. Out I went. From that point in time, I was just staying at home, still around Johannesburg, with the financial backing of my family and my partner. I still was hanging around Johannesburg, applying for a job. Right now, this is where the first big mistake that I made came about. So initially, when I started applying, I would look at, because I think so highly of myself and my capabilities, what I would do is I would go into the different job application website, read the job profile, and think that I can do anything and everything, and I would apply for that for that job. So basically, mistake number one, I literally only had one CV. So I was applying to be a bookkeeper. I was applying to be a receptionist. I was applying to be a CEO. I was applying to be a marketing director with one CV. You need to have different versions of your CV to accommodate the job profile. Honestly, if you're telling me that you're applying for 10 posts a day, I can tell you right now that you are wasting your time, because you need to filter your CV to accommodate the particular job spec that you are looking at. I don't know if you are aware, but lately there are certain companies, more especially the big companies, that actually use system to trim down to actually select CVs. So basically, when you upload your CV and you're applying online and you upload your CV, what that system will do is that it will read and see if you meet a certain percentage threshold for you to go to the next level in terms of interview. It looks at the terminology that you've used in the CV. So by all means, do ignore to copy and paste the job spec and put it into your CV, but try by all means to include whatever is in the job spec in your CV, so that the system, if maybe they are using a system, so that the system can think you are close to enough to having the qualification, or you are the suitable candidate that they are possibly looking for, so that it can get you to the next step. That is the first mistake that I made. The second mistake is, at that point in time, all I had was 6 months working experience and an incomplete degree, but there I was applying for managerial positions. I thought so highly of myself, and that is the one thing. You might think highly of yourself, but the employer or the next person might not necessarily do so. That is why you need to be realistic with yourself. Yes, it's good to aim up, and it is good to apply for certain positions if you feel like you will be able to do them, but be realistic. You cannot skip 10 stages, 1 or 2, maybe that's being practical. Be realistic with your reality. Third advice, invest in your CV, the way it looks, the terminologies that you used. Right now, you need to look at yourself and consider yourself a product. You are a product that is yet to be introduced in a market. Now I'm telling you, I'm putting you on a pedestal. I'm saying, sell yourself. You are selling yourself without even opening your mouth. The person who is receiving the CV does not know you. They've never heard of you. They have zero relations or even care about you. Now it is very much up to you. So it is very much up to you to want to make the person who's going to receive your CV think, I want to call this one. I would really love to hear and see more. I think that would be the perfect fit for our company. Or possibly, but the most important thing is sell yourself. Invest in your CV. Number 1, be realistic. Number 2, have different versions of your CVs as you're applying. Number 3, sell yourself. Okay, going back into my story. Now, I was just applying. I was out there applying for anything and everything that seemed fancy, anything that would make me rich very quickly, and it just wasn't working. But I started being unemployed from the 1st of August, and I thought, if I'm applying for 15 jobs a day, maybe that would give me a better opportunity. and it just wasn't working. Wasn't working. So much so that by August, September, October, November, December, 5 months later, I was still unemployed. And at more than anything, what was really, and it was really starting to get to me, more than anything, what was getting to me is the rejection letters. I know if you are applying for employment, one way or the other, you've received a rejection letter. Those emails are not nice. They are not pretty. And receiving one rejection letter a month is one thing, but receiving 50 rejection letters a month, because that is how much I was applying, is another. But now, moving on to the following year, I thought, you know what, let me take a different strategy, a different route to applying. Honestly speaking, that was where I made the next big set of mistakes. So every job application platform there was, I was there. Now I was starting to get desperate, because I've been unemployed for more than 5 months. My family and my support system did not approve of me quitting my job, but I thought I had it all together. At this point, I'm doubting. I feel like it's only a matter of time until they get tired of my excuses and financially exclude me. No one had said that, but I was already starting to put pressure on myself. I felt like I was starting to get desperate. Right now, the next mistake, the fourth mistake that I made is I was starting to get so desperate that now I started applying for anything and everything. I was not doing enough research about companies when I'm applying online. Most of the time when you find a job post and they say fax your CV, that is normally a scam. I was applying for job posts even via WhatsApp. I was so desperate that at a certain point in time, I remember I applied as a waitress, and and they told me I got the job, but I need to pay 150 rand because they used an agency. I paid that 150 rand. Then it went on to WhatsApp. They sent me a WhatsApp message saying that I need to pay 250 for the uniform, and that is when I started picking up that this is actually a scam. The way I was so desperate, I was even starting to get positive emails inviting me for interviews. But when I went to the venue, I would find that this is an abandoned building. But that is what I also worked to my advantage, because I would normally go to the venue the day before, just so I could plan my route and see where the place was actually located. I knew very much what I needed to do to have a successful interview, but now I needed, such as getting to a venue early. So I would normally go check out the place, and that's when I would actually discover this is an abandoned building and my life could be in danger. So those are the kind of situations I started getting in, simply because I was not doing enough research. So do research. If you see a position is looking fishy, do Google the company, get a telephone number through Google, through the website. When you Google, call that number. Do ask questions that you feel like will take you out of danger. And eventually, when you have confirmed, do make sure that you go to the venue with someone. Now, moving on, eventually I got my big break. By now, it is the following year, March. Finally, I got a big break. I got called to a job interview. But the following day, when I went for the job interview, the venue was actually at a hall in Randburg. When I got to the venue, there was such a long queue. The mistake I had made was that I was not keeping track of the jobs that I applied to and the companies that I applied to. So having received that call, I just got excited that I was able to confirm, but I did not know what position I had applied for. So now going into the interview the following day, I was not prepared enough. But having arrived at the venue, I saw the queue, and I remember at the queue I was asking people, what are you here for? And they told me that they're there for a project management position. So what was actually happening on that day is that you were allocated a time slot. I was allocated the 10 a.m. time slot, and basically when you stand in the queue, they take 20 people at a time. When you go into the hall, you are actually going to write an exam. On that day, it was actually an English exam, And the things were moving so smoothly. The exam was 15 minutes long. Everything was super fast. As much as I think I was number 200 on the queue that day. But the way things were moving so smoothly and everything was so organized, I thought I could do that. I thought it looks legit. So I stood in the queue, and within less than an hour, my turn came, and I was taken in. We went into a hall. We wrote the test, and immediately we were also given a pass mark. So immediately you get the pass mark. That is when and only when they take in your details. So that was the first time I was handing them my CV or confirming my details, because going into the hall, you are just a random person going there to write a test. But the moment you fail, it means you are disqualified. You go to the next stage. And I promise you, there are a lot of people that failed that day. I think there were thousands and thousands of us. Now, immediately after the exam, you go to a desk, you hand them over your CV, they confirm your next interview date. So I went for the first English test in March, and they gave us the next exam date, which was interview date, which was in April. I went home feeling excited and so proud of myself because I passed that exam. So at that point in time, I actually relaxed because I already had the next interview date. I relaxed a bit when it came to the job application. So the second month in April, I did go to the exact same venue once again, but now we were taken into a smaller office because the numbers had gone down. And this time around, I think we're about 200 of us, and this time around we found out that we're actually writing a maths test. So we wrote the test, same process once again, and as soon as you are done, you get the result, because you do the exam on the system. As soon as you are done, you get the result, pass or fail. Fail means you fail, you did not get a job. Then pass means you are making it through to the next round. So immediately once I'm done, I go to the desk, I give them my CV, I give them my details, and then they send me the next date, interview date. So this time around, they actually changed the venue. That's another red flag. But me being me, I was not communicating with anyone at that point in time. I was so comfortable. I was not verifying with anyone. But already the other red flag that I had seen is that every time we went to the interview, they had different branding. Everything looked professional, but the company name had changed. But for me at that point in time, because they told us they are agencies, so we should just relax. So I did not ask any further questions, but that is a red flag. Branding. Company branding is very important. And because of how disorganized I was, I felt like I'm too scared to ask for details. All I know is from what other people have told me, that we are all there for a job, for a project management position, and they are looking for 10 people. The next date that we're given was in May. So May, I actually went for a job interview in a different venue with different people. Now it's in construction offices. We are going there now. Finally, we get a chance to sit down and have a formal interview. And when we went there, I think we're about 35, and we got the great news that we have made it through to the next stage, and that is when they revealed the company name. So the name of the company that they gave us, it is a big, very big, well-known company here in South Africa. All 10 or 15 of us were extremely excited. We got a job, but we still don't have the address of where the company is located or the branch we'll be working in, because it is a big company after all. They are not confirming, but they are not declining either, that it is a project management position. But we don't even know what project we'll be doing. I mean, the other thing that I noticed is that all of us that were there, young adults, we are fresh. The one guy was fresh out of high school looking for employment. But then now they're telling us that we'll be project managers. We were just so excited that we did not ask questions. All of us were under the age of 25, honestly speaking. All of us were just excited that we have some sort of an opportunity. Now, finally, we're given a date for some time in June. They just told us, meet us as this company, just come prepared. They may ask you to start on this day, they may not. But either way, I still did not know what a project manager does or what I was actually going to do for that employment. So yes, that's the other thing. Do not be afraid to ask questions, because that is very, very, very dangerous, more especially with the venue changes on my side. Honestly, as a young female, more especially given all the stats of abduction or kidnapping and even people going missing that have been happening, or bad things happening to girls, that was a very, 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 very risky thing, more especially because I would just go to all these interviews without telling anyone. Lastly, now going on to the final stage in June, when we went into the venue, I was extremely excited when we got to the venue, and I found that it is, yes, indeed, it was that company that they told us it is about. I'm very excited, I'm very happy, I feel safe right now. As much as I was still going, I had doubts at the back of my head. I just wasn't confident enough to ask the right questions, but now we are here. It is the final stage. We finally get to the venue. So we meet what we're told is management, it's HR. Then as soon as we got there, they meet us. We do like a mini interview again, and they said that they were happy with us. Now what happened next is what blew me away more than anything. So they told us, now they sent us into a different center and said that we had to do medicals. So when we got there, what they were doing HIV tests, they were doing fitness tests, they were doing a lot of tests that I've never heard of before. Certain people that were found to be HIV positive were immediately dismissed from the program, and this happened right in front of all of us. We went there completely blindsided. And I remember that we asked the gentleman that was helping us with the medicals, and I'm like, why would you need medicals for project manager? And that was like, what project manager? You're actually here to be truck drivers. At that point in time, I was 3 months pregnant, and with all the tests that I was doing, they were not able to pick that up, but I knew that. And with us being truck drivers, they told us that we'd need to travel long distance and would be earning 4,000 rand a month. But if we cross the border, we'll be making double. And I promise you, all of us in that room did not know that we were actually going to be truck drivers delivering things, because all along we were told and we knew that we were going to be project managers. So it is very, very, very important to keep track of all the applications while you are busy applying. Make sure that you ask the right questions. Follow certain people on, especially agencies. Always look them up on LinkedIn. If they are there, try to call the number. Do something. Do more research on the individuals. You always know the individuals. When you go for interviews, or even when you get that phone call, they always tell you, when you get to the venue, look for this and this person. Look them up on social or on LinkedIn. Stay safe. More than anything, do not get so desperate that you overlook red flags. Do not get so desperate that you don't do enough research. Do not get so desperate that you downlook yourself. You are a product. It is completely up to you to sell yourself. Create the brand that you want to be known as. Do not be that desperate little girl that I was, that almost got herself in a situation. So thankfully I ended up getting another job, and I did not get to start that job and actually pulled back. So yeah, guys, I hope that this video helps you when it comes to applying for jobs. And yeah, there will be other people coming through the next couple of days. Please do embrace them, engage with them on the comment section below. Go follow them on the social media platforms. Ask the right questions. You never know where you might draw inspiration from. For now, that's all from me, and I hope you can learn from the mistakes that I made, and by all means use YouTube to guide you, because there are so many advices that you can get out there. I feel like I cannot exhaust everything, so I've given you the mistakes. Please walk away from the same mistakes that I made. Do not get so desperate that you actually avoid the red flags. Do not go to venues that you are not meant to be at. Do not go and meet up with people, even if they say they are prospective employers. Make sure that it is a place that you applied at and they are following the right protocol. avoid by all means paying people anytime they say you need to discuss something via WhatsApp. Run. So yeah, just stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you again on Thursday. Nimeranza inkwenu.